Okay, here's my Sunday squash number 6, I believe. And it snowed. It snowed so fast that the leaves are still on the trees. And it's way, way early this year. And what I hope to do, I mean, the bonus about fall, it's great to see structures through the trees because all the leaves have fallen off. But off the trees. But unfortunately this year, the winter has come early. We don't usually get snow for another month yet. The bonus about living where I live is the snow's gone pretty quick. I just want to share a little bit about something. I mentioned it to you guys before. Look, I'm not looking for hundreds of millions of people to look at my video. I'm looking for the right people on our Facebook page, Bigfoot Okanagan, and also on our YouTube page. And the reason why I want a core group of people is I want to get people from a variety of places in North America so we can correlate what we're finding. I'm going to do something this winter. I have resources available that probably the average person doesn't. And I'd like you to follow along with me if you don't mind. And also, if you can partake, that would be awesome. If you could also partake, and I'll tell you what I'm talking about here in a sec. The idea, what I'd like to do is, I'm a big believer of what John Bindernagel talks about is tracks. Tracks are real. Follow what is real, not follow what is theory. I'll get the theory as I follow and check out things that are real. And the nice thing about tracks, you can't have tracks without something putting them there. And there's something you can actually observe and look at. So what am I going to talk about? Well, what I'd like to do, this video will be called something like, I don't know, tracking squatches in the winter. But we're going to do it from the air, meaning I'm going to use a helicopter. And I'm going to do that over a 4-month period. Now listen, I've been getting comments back about, well, how are you going to tell the difference between this and that and this and that and this? And how are you going to tell that? And are you sure it's going to be that? And how are you know, all this kind of stuff. Now, I do have an advantage of where I live. Because the forests that we have, they're like forest islands, and yes, some of them are fairly larger islands, meaning that they're larger areas or regions are covered in forest. But we also have a lot of clear areas, meaning that all you see is white snow. And I'm going to show you, when I start doing this process, this video process, I'm going to show exactly my technique or what I'm going to actually try to do. And yes, I know I'm opening myself up for criticisms, but from what I can tell, no one has done this yet, so why not try it? And what else to do? What else is a better way of spending your winter than flying over top of the forest? I had asked on 5 different sites, can people help me out, show me particular videos of Sasquatch prints in the snow? 5 sites I asked that on, and I kept getting just basically 4 videos from 2 different events. One was from Ontario, and some of you guys have probably seen that one. I think Facebook Bigfoot did an analysis of it, and they thought it was pretty good. And that's of a 3-mile trackway with something like 3,000 tracks done by some skidoers or snowmobilers. And another one was a set of 3 videos done by 2 guys who were out ice fishing. And look, if you don't do groundwork, you're probably gonna think that one was a hoax. But a lot of us who are out in the field, climbing mountains, climbing gruntly through just garbage areas, you get what they're talking about, especially when they're on the 3rd video, when they're climbing up the incline of the snow area. Yeah, it's exhausting for sure. So if you know any more videos, post them for me, will you? If you don't mind, I want to check them out a little bit. Now, from what I see from what I've seen of snow tracks and stuff like that for Bigfoot, they're similar to, well, in Canada we call them swamp donkeys, moose tracks in deep snow. Moose tracks in deep snow are almost like those, I can't remember if you guys saw the Christmas Story or whatever, where the guy's got the sexy leg lamp. And moose tracks are kind of like that. They're long and tunnely when they go through snow because they lift up and over and then straight down. And that seems to fit the stride of Bigfoot pretty good. And from what I've seen from the videos, you guys who have shared those with me, which I do appreciate, they're the same way. They go up and straight down into the ground, meaning there's no external kick from the toes when they leave. In some cases, yes, and no glide into the step like humans do. So the idea of what I want to do is I'm going to quadrant out a 50 square foot mile area. And in this particular area that I'm doing it, BFRO has 3 different reports around one specific lake. So I'm really going to check out that area as well. I'm going to fly over with the chopper. I'm going to look for patterns in the snow, crisp patterns, fresh patterns. What I mean by that is after it snows here, I intend to go up within an 8-hour period. So the next day, if it snowed all night long and the next day is going to be nice and sunny or shiny or at least no snow, I'll be flying over that area. I'm not looking for any kind of tracks that look goofy. I'm looking for tightrope tracks that are straight. That's one of the, what's the word I'm looking for? Consistencies with Sasquatch tracks. They're like tightrope. 1 foot right in front of each other, not staggered at all. And the other thing I'm looking for is a straight down style of tracks. Now, if you haven't flown much and looked down and saw tracks, I have over 800 hours on helicopters, so I'm kind of a little more familiar than most people would be. They're totally different from the sky than they are from the ground. And yes, I am aware that rabbits do a pounce on different types of snow. And the Inuvik, they have different terms for snow. I think there's like 143 definitions for snow, different types of snow. And yeah, depending on what type of snow it is when an animal walks on it, it'll depend on what type of track they leave. And I have seen people who've kind of interpreted rabbit pounces as being Bigfoot tracks, and I'm sorry, but they're just rabbit pouncing. I'm also aware of other animals who do seem to walk in straight lines. Now, listen, those are different. They're little tiny tracks. They're not going to be like between, I don't know, 11 to 18 foot strides to 20 foot footprints in there. The bonus about having a helicopter too is I can get down nice and low, take a look at the tracks, follow them. Now, what I want to do is over a period of, like I said, 4 months, is record the directions and the coordinates, and I overlay all the tracks that I find that seem to be pretty solidly looking like Bigfoot tracks, and I will go on location up there either with skidoos or snowmobiles, and I'll either send my drone up to follow the tracks in the bush, or I'll take this old body of mine and walk through the bush. Now, how can you help out with this? Listen, you guys, a chopper, if you have 4 good friends and you're not doing anything and it's really snowed out and you're in an area similar to the environment I'm in, meaning that it's not solid forest, you won't be able to do this exercise if you're in solid forest. But if you look on Google Map and you notice that your area has forest islands, in other words, areas where there's lots of trees, but also areas where there's spaces around it, especially if you got fresh clear cut from that year. Those areas there, you should be able to see tracks going into those particular trees in the open spaces from the air. And like I said, if you got 4 of you, it's about $125 each. Get in a chopper. What else are you doing this weekend? Fly over your areas in the wintertime, especially if you know you're active. And again, we're not looking for squatches. If you see one, hey, that's a great bonus. I suspect you won't see any. I don't expect to see any, but if I do, I'll film it. I'll show you guys. Let's see what I was going to say with that. But if you do have an active area and stuff like that, see if you can find a pattern, and let's compare notes. And see if there's areas where the tracks go over a period of time to one specific location. The nice thing about looking at things from above, you get a huger view of a vantage point. And I want to get into a Squatch's head. As mentioned before, a lot of the stuff I do is I deal with people from the inside out, how they think from the inside out. And the savant theory, what Christopher talks about, yeah, I want to get in from the inside out. And I want to find out exactly, you know, when you go through and watch those videos online, the ones of the snow tracks and stuff like that. Man, if I was a savant, being able to read how they're walking through there, like, I can't remember what her name is, who's autistic, and she figured out how to do more humane ways for dealing with cattle production. That's kind of the zone I'd like to go into. I still want to do the things about the idea about tracking and how tracks disappear. And I know perfectly well if you talk to any trackers, they'll tell you all tracks disappear. So I don't think there's a mystery to it. However, On some of those videos, especially the ones from that one from Ontario, that's 3 miles, there's a lot of evidence right there that shows you exactly how they do it. And remember, their body is a lot more acrobatic than what ours could possibly be, especially this old guy standing in front of you. So what I'm going to do is, over a 4-month period, I'm going to fly over with a helicopter, and I'm going to look specifically for tightrope walking tracks, and then I'm also going to look for the spacing in those tracks to see if the straddle or the step is between 5 to 6 feet long. Now again, from the air, it's totally different. A lot of people are looking for tracks. Don't look for tracks, look for pattern. So you're looking for straight line tracks that have large spacing between them. The advantage about having a helicopter, again, is the ability for me to stop the helicopter, hover over top of it, and take a look. The next plan will be, if I get a chance to, and the snow's not too deep and I get up there with a skidoo, is to follow them. And I'll probably track them a bit with my drone first, because this old body of mine is getting a little older. And again, I'm not looking for squatches. If I see one, hey, that would be spectacularly fabulous. But what I'm looking for is to see if there's a general area where they seem to congregate a bit more during the wintertime. And I should be able to find that out by tracks. I am a big believer in John Bindernagel's things about tracks. If something is leaving tracks, it's got to be real. Follow what's real, not what is theory. So tracks are pretty real. And when you follow them, you should be able to negotiate exactly where they're headed to and how often are they heading that direction. And is there one specific area that they like over winter? There's some geese in the background, they're flying over, compared to in the summertime. Now, how can you join in on me on this one? Listen, a chopper, if you rent a chopper for an hour, sorry, it's about, I'm not sure what it'd be in the States, but it's probably around 500, 600 bucks up here. And but if you got 4 friends, it's 125 bucks. And when's the last time you've seen the forest from the skies? It's a great weekend little project. You got 4 eyes looking. You know what you're looking for: straight lines, big steps, deep snow. And again, squatches will have a tendency when they're walking, they'll go up like a moose and go straight down when they walk in snow, from what I've been seeing anyways. Let's see, what else? Is that it? Yeah, I think that's it.